New Tera Raid event in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's part 2 of a Mighty Mewtwo attacks. So we have the show of supporters running from August 17th until August 31st. Also, once the Mewtwo Raid event drops, both the offense and supporters will be available, so we can talk about those loot tables later on. But before we get into all of the gameplay and all this Tera Raid stuff, do need to talk about an amazing promotion going on with G Fuel right now. Buy one, get one free. You can mix and match all kinds of things. You can get a shaker cup and a box of single-use packets. You can also just kind of go for collector boxes. So get that as well as an energy tub. And boom, look at that, $75 down to $40. Massive savings. Use the link down below. Now, code Verlisify doesn't work for this one. It's its own promo, and it runs until August 22nd. After then, use code Verlisify, 20% off your G Fuel order. You're going to need energy for the Mewtwo raids and all of this farming, as well as the upcoming DLC Teal Mask dropping next month. So use this promo to stock up. Also, let's get into the game and see what's going on here. So, Tera Raids, kind of interesting, doesn't really feel that great. Also, some of the raids kind of annoying. So let's go Screech onto the Hatterene. Then we're going to go Swords Dance on the Koraidon, hit it with some hits, see what happens. But the raid's not super free, doesn't feel as good as some of the previous ones. So yeah, we do a little bit of setup into this 5-star raid, use the Outrage onto the Hatterene, and it doesn't get KO'd. So, want to consider an attack cheer after that. That means it's going to take 3 turns of setup into the Outrage, and if you fail it, well, that means the shield goes up, and you're going to be here for a while, and it's not going to be fun. Bro, Hatterene just taking so many turns as well. It just went Calm Mind Psychic Terrain. Fortunately, we do have enough time to do the Go All Out cheer on top of that. But then depending on, like, the Metal Sound and, or not Metal Sound, the Screech and all the other things going on, hopefully it doesn't put up the premature shields. In which case, sometimes it does, so that just really sucks, and there's not really much we can do about that. Hopefully, after all the setup, maybe we can just, like, get 2 Outrages and get it done. That could be a possibility. Also, with that previous G Fuel promotion, the best way you can support the channel is by supporting the brands that support me. Also, liking, sharing, commenting the video, all that YouTube stuff. It means a lot. That's how we're getting through all this like craziness that's going on and grinding out all these raids. So this Outrage comes through, breaks the shield, doesn't like do any crazy over kind of damage. So Hatterene raid, not super free, easy, one shot, but we get through and then we can see the rewards. Or not. Or we just get KO'd after all that setup in the Psychic Terrain. Wow. Now, what about the rewards? The rewards going to be very similar to the Hydreigon and Scizor raids we saw. Get a little bit of hit point up, Iron, Zinc, some of the Tera Shards matching the type, candies, and then just some stuff overall, but it's very basic. You shouldn't need candies at this point in the game, especially if you did the previous Blissey raids, or if you find some of the Blissies inside of this raid. Getting 8 Tera Shards instead of 4 for a 5-star raid, especially an annoying one like this, is whatever, and then the rest is things you can just buy through the Ace Academy tournament farming with your Pokédollars. Also, for my current raid setup, it's Life Orb Koraidon with some setup, and then max hit points, max attack EVs. That way you can set up and then do all the damage. Azumarill, going to be the same. Max amount of hit points, max amount of attack, belly drum, and then coverage. It makes it really nice if you can super effective with the Azumarill. Other than that, it's going to be the same thing to where like belly drum and then hitting it with a move, barely not going to be enough damage. And I've had some Hatterene survive even after the attack cheer. So it's not like, oh, just bring Azumarill instead of the Koraidon. It really just comes down to like if you have the super effective hits available. And then Blissey is just too fat for a special attack from Golden Go anyways. Now there's also Grimmsnarl raids. Avoid these at all costs. If you see the Grimmsnarl, it is absolutely not worth grinding out. Just move on to the next event raid. Water Tera Shard just kind of seeing like the best go-to Tera type, at least going into like tank Pokemon for the Teal Mask and future DLC. So you want to farm those up, but the problem is like if it's not on a Blissey, it's going to be kind of rough, and you still don't get a crazy amount of Tera Shards anyways. So yeah, just like skip it if you see a Grimmsnarl. And if you don't have a super effective against the Hatterene, probably not worth doing either. So let's see what we have here. Blissey Raid, alright. So, Steel-type Blissey Tera Raid going to be really easy with the Azumarill. I just want to see, like, Swords Dance, Collision Course. Is that enough to take it out with the Koraidon? I imagine yes, with, like, all the stacked stuff going on here. And Red Bar Blissey. So that's kind of like a weird quirk that happened in some of the Blissey Raids, where it's like, yeah, it should just be able to, like, Belly Drum one-shot, because physical hit, and Blissey doesn't like that too much. But depending on the setup, like, some of them will just barely survive. So you're going to have to adapt to that, even with the Azumarill raids or whatever. But it just kind of shows, like, okay, if you have Koraidon, that works. If you have Azumarill, that works. And it's mostly about just kind of, like, picking and choosing the raids that you want to do. But Blissey will be for the Tera Shards. However, my experience with this raid is that this is the inferior Blissey raid. I say as I get the super rare one that gives you, like, all the bonus Tera Shards and stuff. But the regular, not bonus Tera Shard Blissey Raid just seems to give less Tera Shards. And that's if you don't get a Hatterene or Grimmsnarl instead. That's a pretty good roll. Unfortunately, it was Steel. And we just have to kind of like check all of them anyways to see if it's a Blissey or not. But we did get the crazy bonus. And we got the nice type roll. So a little bit of water, a little bit of fire, bug. Those are usable. Alright, so we have a flying Blissey Tera Raid. I'm just going to do, like, the belly drum into a play rough to kind of show how weird the damage is. Also, it kind of maybe sometimes matters on what your ally Pokemon do. Like, if they get a significant chip damage in because they're hitting it with, like, super effective physical hits, might change up some of the numbers. But yeah, if you just go, like, belly drum, play rough into Blissey, you expect it to be enough, but it isn't. And you can survive that extra turn even after the belly drum and then, like, multiple seismic tosses. And after you do the attack shear, that means you can go Waterfall instead of Play Rough and not have to worry about, like, the Play Rough missing or anything like, not Liquidation, or not Waterfall, Liquidation. You don't have to worry about the chance of it missing. And then once the shield goes up, yeah, it's still not super free. So it's actually faster to do the attack shear after the belly drum. And this is what I mean about the Blissey Tera Raid being really bad for Tera Shards this time around. That's it. We only got 10. So 5, because you get 5 for the typing, and then you also get your, like, random 3x5. And then we got a 2 and a 3. And then the rest were just, like, crazy amounts of candies. Alright, and then for this Tera Raid, I'm gonna go Belly Drum, Attack Shear, Liquidation into the neutral. But because it's a Dark Raid, you could also just kind of go Belly Drum Superpower into it immediately. Just kind of showing, like, the Liquidation neutral hit versus all the other interactions that can happen inside of this raid. Then we can do some final rewards, closing thoughts, and wrap up the video. Okay, Belly Drum, Attack Shear, Liquidation didn't get this Blissey, and we actually got KO'd. And that's why I test things, because it feels like, okay, it shouldn't be that much of a difference between play rough and stuff, but it does matter a little bit what moves your allies use and how much damage goes across. And then, like, the superpower would just get it anyways without the chance of missing. And you wouldn't have to do the attack shear anyways, but you can also just kind of throw down the play rough as well. So let's just see what a play rough does to the shield without any boosting. Yeah, it's tough out there on these Blissey Raids. Which means that for the Blissey Raid, you actually want to use Koraidon, but I guess if you have Violet version, you have Miraidon, then Azumarill is going to be your go-to, unless you have a Koraidon. But Koraidon for the Swords Dance, Metal Sound, Attack Shear, Outrage into the neutral Blissey is going to be more damage than what Azumarill does, so do that instead. Yeah, look at this. These Blissey Raids feel terrible. We get candy, 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 candy. Wow. So it's just a candy Blissey, and we didn't even get any extra Tera Shards aside from the 5 of the typing. That just feels terrible. And looking at the rewards, we also have, like, some TMs from the Grimmsnarl and stuff. So Reflect, Light Screen, Struggle Bug, Snarl. Now, Struggle Bug, Snarl, those are going to be good into Mewtwo and can kind of, like, work for some strategy, but it's not like, oh man, you need to farm these annoying raids that don't give any good rewards to get those TMs, especially if you already have some of them. And then the Blissey Raids don't really seem like the same Blissey Raids from earlier. So we had it like this, where it's like 3 of each shard, 2 of each shard with, like, bonus chances and stuff. And then rolls for the candy, and then having, like, the super mega jackpot Blissey. This seems to just be copied over, but it just doesn't feel as good as the previous Blissey Raid, and that's after like doing multiple Blissies. So I don't know what's going on there. Also, like, Tera Shards are the more important in-game than candies, that you only need to get a couple of Pokemon to level 100, effectively just the party I have. Velobolt just beats every 7-star Tera Raid. Having your legendary at level 100 is just a ton of power to get through anything in the game. Azumarill was really good for the previous Blissey farming, so you could just set that up, and then Golden Go takes out 5 and 6-star raids in one shot. Now, Annihilate has done well for some of the Tera Raid events, and getting your Mew to level 100 for the Mewtwo event because it gets bonus stats might be the play, or maybe Velobolt still just wins against Mewtwo. We're going to see how all of that stuff ends up playing out. But you don't need experience candies in this game, especially because Hyper Training is only for level 50, so the Blissey, like, prioritizing experience candies just feels really bad, and you should already have those Pokemon at the state of the game. So it's kind of weird. Like, if you're Timmy and you need experience candies right now, well, these raids are going to be annoying and difficult because the Blissey still kind of tricky, and then the Grimmsnarl and the Hatterene just aren't worth it at all. We need Tera Shards, Game Freak. Those matter more in the end game. So really, really hoping the Teal Mask has, like, discounts, much like how we saw discounted vitamins in the Isle of Armor. We need 50% off for the Tera Shards in the Teal Mask with, like, the festival or whatever's going on after you beat the story. So yeah, this actually just kind of seems like a really bad raid event, and it's going to come down to how good the Mewtwo raid rewards are and how much you can farm that. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Yo, that team actually looking like kind of stacked though for all these like level 100s that can just deal with raids.